Hi, and thanks for stopping by 1 in 20 D&D. I'm Gregory, and I appreciate you coming in and checking this video out today. It'll be a short one. I want to cover a really important topic to me, and that is 4 points to level up your game as a player. Now, point number 1 is really simple. Know your character. Now, there's 2 elements to that to elaborate a little bit what I mean in knowing your character. First, have a sense of your background, your race, your class, of course. You need to have an understanding of that, what your role might be. But more importantly, some of your motivations. Why are you doing the things you're doing? Why did you become an adventurer? Or, why do you cower when things get bad? Or why do you charge in when things get bad? And having a sense of that before you go into the game, it really helps you to bring a really interesting, dynamic character to the table. Now, the second element of my first point is your character sheet. Just simply knowing where everything is on your character sheet can really smooth things out for the game. And what I mean by that is, when you're at the table or if you're playing virtually online, knowing where to find the things your DM asks for when he asks for them or when you need them, it really makes the game move a lot more smoothly. There's less breaks, there's less of a kind of a hiccup when it comes to your turn. If the Dungeon Master says, I need you to roll a such and such check, such as, let's say, a perception check or, stealth check, knowing where on your sheet to find that number, that modifier, is really going to help you out and help everyone else at the table because it saves time if you know exactly where to look. Same thing with your spells and your saving throws and your basic stats and all that kind of thing. Knowing just generally where that is, so that's what the character sheet is for. As a quick reference, you can grab it on the fly. Now, second point is much easier. Be creative and inventive. So what do I mean by that? So in other words, don't just always go by the book of exactly, I am a fighter and I have a sword and a shield and I will fight with my sword and block with my shield. Yeah, that's fun and interesting and that's your role, I guess, but doing something crazy like, I'm gonna use my shield like a frisbee and throw it across the room to try to knock the candle over and light the drapes on fire. I don't know. That's amazing. I watched this incredible video on YouTube one time where the gentleman that was playing the magic user, every time he cast a spell, he described the spell as being like birds flying out or doing whatever it was. So magic missile wasn't just magic missile. It was like 3 little robins racing out at his enemy and landing and hitting their targets or something like that and bursting in a glittery explosion or something. It was amazing. So doing things that are like a little doing things that are a little bit more dynamic or out of the ordinary is what I meant to say. It really brings a lot of excitement and interest to the character and the story, which is what role-playing is all about. So, if you're a druid, maybe it's vines and leaves and that sort of thing, animals and what have you. But the point being, be creative, be inventive, use your skills, abilities, and equipment in ways that maybe aren't obvious when you first sit down and look at your list. The third item is use descriptive language in your transitions. What do I mean by that? Point 3 is really simple. When you're at a table, you're playing with your friends, unless it's a solo adventure, you and the DM, there's going to be other people involved. Now, what you can do is, let's say the person that goes before you is a fighter. He attacks, misses. And the DM says, "Oh, the half orc blocks your swing with his shield." Use that to move into your action. Let's say I'm playing a magic user, so I say, "Okay, the fighter, as he takes his swing and his sword is blocked by the shield, I see that and I immediately cast whatever." You see, I'm using that moment that just happened with the character before me to move into what I'm gonna do. And what it does is it bridges those moments and it creates this really neat flow to the story. Now, that's point number 3. Point number 4 is pretty simple. Be a team player. That's what this is all about. I have sat at tables where the players are infighting and kind of working against each other, and honestly, if you want to do that, you know, that's fine. That's your choice. You know, you can play that role. It's going to make the game uncomfortable for someone at the table, if not everyone at the table. That being said, what I have found is just my experience. I have found that when people are team players and they lift everyone else up, or they try to help the other characters, instead of stealing all the glory for themselves, they try to set up the other players, the other characters to find their own glory. That is exciting and fun, and what it does is it strengthens the group dynamic. It makes everyone feel like you care about each other. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Don't steal all the glory. Be a team player. Create glory for your teammates. That's what I suggest. That's just my 4 points to level up your game as a player. So point number 1, know your character. Point number 2, be creative and inventive. Point number 3, use descriptive language and transitions. And point number 4, be a team player. All right? So quick 4 points to level up your game as a player. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you next time at the table. And in the meantime, keep rolling 20s.